1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Because you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. Oh, you're perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Oh, it's love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love. Love, love. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're good. You are perfect in all of your ways. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved. You are perfect in all of your ways. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and I'd like to tell you a Bible story. The Bible's a big book. But it can be broken up into two main parts. There's the Old Testament, full of stories about God and his relationship with the nation of Israel, and the New Testament, full of stories about Jesus and his followers. This story, the story of the worst day and the best day, part 1, can be found in the New Testament, in the book of John, chapter 19. So Jesus walked around, being kind to people, being loving to people, and teaching them God's ways. He healed people and even raised Lazarus from the dead. But the Jewish religious people, the leaders of the nation of Israel, they did not like Jesus. Jesus made them very, very angry. They didn't like that Jesus hung out with people who they thought no one should be hanging out with those people. They didn't like that Jesus hung out with sinners and children. They said no. And they also didn't like the things that Jesus was teaching. They disagreed with what Jesus was teaching. And they definitely didn't like that Jesus would refer to God as his Father. Who does he think he is? The Son of God? Which is exactly what Jesus was. Well, finally, the Jewish religious leaders, they had enough. And they wanted to arrest Jesus and have him killed. So Jesus was arrested, and the Jewish religious leaders, they brought him before the Romans. The Romans were even above the Jewish religious leaders, and they were cruel, violent people. And they took Jesus and brought him to Pilate, who was one of the Romans, and said, "Pilate, arrest and kill this man." Pilate said, "Why? What has he done wrong?" Because he thinks he's the king of the Jews. And we know you don't like that because you Romans believe that Caesar, your king, is the only king. So Pilate talked to Jesus and he kept thinking, I don't know what this man has done wrong. But eventually he gave in to the Jewish religious leaders and he decided to punish Jesus. Punish Jesus, the perfect Son of God. Jesus, who had never done anything wrong. He was perfect. The Romans decided to punish him and to execute him, to kill him. They took Jesus and they ripped his clothes off. And they took whips and they whipped Jesus' back over and over and over again. And they laughed at Jesus. And they took thorns and they made a crown out of the thorns. And they said, "Oh, if you think you're the king, here's your crown." And they put the crown on Jesus' head. And the thorns dug into his head and blood came down his cheeks. And they took purple cloth and put it on his back and said, "Okay, king, here's your robe." And they paraded Jesus around in front of cheering crowds. And finally, they crucified Jesus. They nailed Jesus to a cross. They laid him down on 2 pieces of wood. And they ting, 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 put a nail through his hand, ting, 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 through his other hand, ting, 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 through his feet. They raised the cross up. And there, in front of a crowd of people and Jesus' followers, Jesus hung on the cross. And Jesus, the perfect Son of God, who had never done anything wrong, died. He died on that cross. And when he had died, some of his followers, a man named Joseph of Arimathea, and another man named Nicodemus, who at one point had been one of the Jewish religious leaders who didn't like Jesus, but who changed his mind about Jesus. They took Jesus' body and they went to Joseph of Arimathea's land and the tomb that he had. And this tomb was like a cave. And they took his body and laid Jesus' body on a bench in there. And they covered his body and oils, which is what you would do when there was a dead body. And as they're doing this, I think Nicodemus was remembering a conversation he had with Jesus not long before Jesus had died. And in that conversation, Jesus had looked at Nicodemus and he said this, Nicodemus, God so loves the world that he has given the world me, his only son. And whoever believes in me will not perish, but will have eternal life with me forever and forever and forever. I love this story, the story of the worst day, the day that Jesus, who had never done anything wrong, died on the cross, because it reminds me that if I believe in Jesus and the sacrifice that he made on the cross, that all of my sin, everything I have ever done wrong in my life, will be wiped away, and I will be saved. That's what it means to believe in Jesus. And the best thing in my life that could ever have happened only happened because of the worst day. But next time, we'll talk about 3 days later, the best day of all. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.